So one of the big things about Brexit was ending our so-called trade surpluses with the EU, that it was time to redistribute our trade and, get more on board with the world. The typical rhetoric that you hear from the global Britain side of the Brexiteers and the Conservative Party. That, of course, as we've said before, that's one of the, quote, big ideas in the Conservative Party and in the government at the moment, and they are driving that hard. But as we have said before, the more they drive that, the more it undermines the very core concept that won them seats in the North, that of levelling up. And as I've said before, the whole levelling up idea is nothing but rhetoric. The New Towns Fund, which of the 43 towns selected, 40 of them are Tory constituents, and these are not suddenly Tory constituents won in the last elections. These are Tory constituents that are not even indexed on the deprivation level, so that a town like mine doesn't get as much money as, shall we say, Rishi Sunak's constituency, which is not even on the deprivation level because there is no deprivation in that area. Like I say, it's pork barrel politics, and sooner or later people will catch on to this. And like I say, the next election I think will be very, very interesting because obviously we've had coronavirus, we've had Brexit, and there are serious questions going to be asked of why hasn't Britain recovered compared to the rest of Europe or even the rest of the world? Why are we lagging so behind? And Boris Johnson and his cohort Brexiteers, that's even if Johnson is at the next general election, of course, aren't going to be able to have too much to answer for. And if they want to go on a big deregulation train, this will only cause more trouble down the line and more problems with us trying to trade with our biggest trading partner being the EU. Like I say, trade gravity is a thing that ain't changing anytime soon. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for all the support that those people who do support me on that way do. So, on with today's article. So, this comes from The Independent, and the title is Brexit. Collapse in British exports hands the Republic of Ireland a trade surplus. So a collapse in British exports to the Republic of Ireland since Brexit has handed Dublin an extraordinary trade surplus with London, new figures show today. The Irish government says that new trading red tape explains a €2 billion plunge in the value of goods sales, reaching over 47.6% in the first quarter of this year compared with the start of 2020. Hang on, there it goes. It's jumped. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. So it is revealed that after ferry routes were explained between the country and France to bypass British ports, mired in extra paperwork, brought in by Boris Johnson's trade agreement, something that we must keep on pressing home, the figures published by Dublin suggest its companies have switched to buying products directly from EU countries rather than from across the Irish Sea. Some of the huge decline is attributed to a knock-on effect from stockpiling at the end of last year, but the asymmetry in customs procedures is seen as the primary cause. As proof, this report points to Irish goods export to Great Britain dropping by only 2.6% over the same period. The Republic is now running a surplus with Britain, despite having a population of under 5 million people, while the UK is still the second largest economy in Europe. The figures are the first published since the UK left the EU single market and customs union at the end of the post-Brexit transition period back on the 21st of December. And they follow similar gloomy statistics for trade with the EU, which showed a 25% fall up to April, covering the first 4 months of the new year. This also masked the calamitous fall in food and drink exports, which are down by over £2 billion, or by 47% compared with the same period in 2020, with dairy exports hit the hardest. Separate figures for the British-Irish trade would not be revealed in UK statistics, but the Dublin government separates them from imports and exports with Northern Ireland. The report notes, at present, there is asymmetry in required customs checks on cross-border trade between the UK and the EU. To export goods from the UK to the EU, businesses now need to comply with new procedures such as UK export declarations and the import requirements of EU member states. The figures also show, probably to the alarm of the Unionists in the north, a big increase in trade on the island of Ireland as the outlets there look south for more products. Goods exported to Northern Ireland increased by 22.4% year on year, while exports to the Republic soared by 42%. And the extra ferry services between Ireland and the continent have been dubbed the Brexit Buster routes, threatening the businesses in ports such as Holyhead and in Liverpool. And at Rolsair, sailings and cargo capacity for roll-on, roll-off shipments to France have quadrupled in just a single month. Other vessels are being rerouted from Belfast, Liverpool, Holyhead to Dublin and French services. So overall, this ain't going good. This is not going good. This is, again, not what the Brexiteers expected. And is there any reason why they are now trying, in a desperate attempt to them to actually seriously try to contemplate the matters by trying to rewrite history? And there is a point of where it said this is alarmed Unionists in the north, where instead of pointing their anger at Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers, the people who said to them that this would all be fine, hey, Brexit's going to go well, it's going to be fantastic, it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows. Again, it has been anything but. And Unionists, I think it was last week or the beginning of this week, they have announced that they are going to have a march on Dublin, not London, which is where they should be marching, because that is the source of their problems and complaints, because apparently it is Dublin that has put on this border in the Irish Sea. No, it was never a European solution, and I'm always very firm to reassess that this solution, this Northern Ireland Protocol, was never an invention of the EU. It was created by the UK government as a source to try and solve the problem, because you cannot have a border between the North of Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, full stop, because of the Good Friday Agreement. I cannot mention how many number of times we actually have to repeat that, but this is the level of absolute insanity that we are getting at. And like I say, this was a solution that the Brexiteers put in as it would solve all the problems. And now they are trying to rewrite history, saying that this was forced upon the UK by the EU. Again, this was not forced upon them. This was this is the EU going, okay, what's your solution to the Northern Ireland problem? And the UK went, okay, we're going to put a border in the Irish Sea. And of course, as we know now, Boris Johnson took a very ropey approach to basically just get Brexit done as fast as possible, and did an absolutely horrendous deal with the EU, which will not do him any favours, especially in coming elections, as things, shall we say, start to get worse. And trust me, things will start to get a lot worse the more the rest of the world starts to get back to normal post-coronavirus, because that's one of the things that has saved the Brexiteers so much. The fact that they got the coronavirus was an absolute gift to them, because they can hide much of the damage of Brexit underneath the rug. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.